Greetings, beautiful souls. As promised, I have a special guest for you, and she is here with us. Her name is Lisa Lowndes, and she's a lovely person, and you really want to hear her message and her story. And Lisa, are you there?
I am. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
Hi, Lisa. Really excited to have you on. Definitely, you're such a positive person, and I just love your story, your business that you do, and just the way you are as a person, showing up and doing what you do. So can you just tell the listening audience a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I was originally born in Essex, but I've lived in Cambridge for most of my life. I'm a mum to 3 boys, and a bit of a difficult upbringing, which kind of leads me on to sort of why I do what I do and my message and so on. I lived in very not abusive relationships myself, but I grew up in sort of family environments that were quite violent and not very good. And my dad left when I was very, very young, and also I was very ill. I had really bad asthma, so I spent a lot of time in and out of hospital. And I was very close. I spent a lot of time with my nan and granddad, and my granddad, he wasn't like my mum's biological dad, so he was her stepdad, but he'd always been in her life. And I was very, very close to him. Extremely close. I guess he was sort of the dad that I never had, kind of thing. And then my sister came along, and she was very much kind of, the baby of the family, and, she could do no wrong, even though she was a rat bag. So my granddad and I were very, very close. And then he sadly passed away when I was about 11. So, a long time ago now. And I spent many years feeling very sort of alone, bouts of depression, and my sort of self-esteem and my self-worth were very, very low. I had no confidence in myself. If I looked back, or if I sort of looked to the future, should I say, back sort of in my teens and early 20s, I would never expect to be where I kind of am now. Not sort of in a financial sense, but just in my sort of growth as a person, and how I've kind of recovered from things and so on. So yeah, I never really thought that I would ever kind of genuinely be happy and smile. I was very sort of introverted, I guess, and I kind of just believed that everyone was out to hurt you, that everybody was fake and all men were horrible, and and I'd had a couple of relationships that were quite toxic, and I also had postnatal depression with my first son, so that was really, really difficult. And yeah, it's kind of been sad times, and things that I wouldn't wish on anybody, but I've always seen it that I'm not a victim, and I don't want anyone to ever feel sorry for me. And now I choose to kind of share my story, because it's to give other people hope, and to know that you're not alone, and that there's things that you can do, and that actually you can kind of come out the other side of it all and actually be happy and smile, I guess. So yeah, sadly I am now divorced, or maybe not sadly. I am divorced with my 3 boys. And I worked for the local authority for 12 years as an environmental crime officer. And I had a brief relationship with a colleague, which ended up in, I took a harassment case out against him. Again, it was a very sort of volatile relationship, very sort of damaging, and I just got to the point where, you know, I couldn't cope with it. So because I'd started in network marketing, but kind of part-time, I ended up sort of around this time last year, actually, leaving my full-time job, kind of taking the plunge to work from home full-time. So yeah, it's been a bit of an adventure, and sort of, you know, lots of stories to tell. But yeah, it's just it's good to come out the other side, and like I say, to be able to share my story now, and, you know, give hope to other people, and let people know that, you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Wow, Lisa, that's beautiful. I mean, you know, when I hear you say that, you know, you didn't think you could be happy and smiling. And that's what we see of you now. That's, you know, that's how you present. I mean, it would be, I can't even imagine you not being the way you are now. So you've obviously come on leaps and bounds, and, you know, you've really found your true authenticity, and that's what you lead with today.
Yeah, absolutely. And also just, you know, meeting like yourself and Rebecca, you know, all these amazing people, and, you know, really forming some lovely friendships and getting to know people. You know, you realise that actually there are some really good people out in the world, and not you know, not everybody is bad and out to get you. And that's been really refreshing as well, because I found it quite difficult. I suppose I had a lot of like limiting beliefs. Yeah. You know, to me, I was never going to live happily ever after. That's just fairy tale books. But yeah, here I am today, and it's also important for me to kind of get that message out to my children, you know, and to lead by example to them, because I wouldn't want them growing up with that view of the world, you know. So yeah.
Oh, you know, it's, again, limiting beliefs. I can relate to that, and I feel so many of us, and, you know, I'm sure our listeners, you know, can relate to that. And you know, what is it like for you to, you know, release or trash, or, you know, transform your limiting beliefs, Lisa, into where you are now and how you think now?
Oh, it's like, do you know, it's like, I can only describe it as like a weight off your shoulders. You know, when you just feel lighter and you just feel so like, oh, it's just so lovely. You know, I used to get very embroiled in sort of negativity and drama and that kind of thing. And now I'm just like, I haven't got time for things like that, you know. And it's just, if I get people come to me that sort of are trying to have a bit of a gossip about someone else, I'm just like, I'm not interested, you know, grow up. And it's just nice
for you as well. Yeah,
it is. And I think I was so consumed, particularly around the stuff that was going on with my ex-partner, because it was a difficult relationship to get out of. And then obviously we then had the harassment case with the police. And unfortunately, that didn't go to the CPS because there were issues with the police officer that was investigating. Oh. And subsequently, the officer that dealt with my case was actually in court himself for assault.
Oh, my goodness.
I can never say it, cohesion and controlling behaviour in a relationship. So that was kind of a massive thing to deal with, because I was just like, you know, you're just as bad as the perpetrators. You know, you're the very people that we're supposed to be able to rely on for help and so on. So, you know, there was lots that went on with it. I made several complaints and so on. And I just found that I was getting so consumed with anger, and kind of like, to me, it was just this massive injustice. And I remember my mum kept saying to me, you've just got to let it go because it's going to eat you up. And I kept thinking, well, it's easy for you to say because you're not the one going through it, but actually, when I did learn to let go, and I just think, karma will catch up with you one way or another, and let karma do its job. And when I kind of let that go, again, that was such a massive relief. I don't think until you do that, I don't think you realise like the knock-on effect that it has on your everyday life, on your children, on your business. So yeah, it's just it is like a load has been taken away.
Wow, that's beautiful. And obviously, with the new Lisa that you are, this, although this was really difficult, you were able to, rise above it, and here you are today, telling, the story, but, no longer attached to it. And, that's the beautiful thing. And this is the thing, you mentioned Rebecca earlier on. We will be talking about the lovely Rebecca later on. But what I'm really excited about, Lisa, is your business. Now, network marketing, I've loved network marketing from, a very long time. Now, you're a young woman who's got into network marketing, and you've made it work to the point where you gave up your full-time job. I've never been able to do that. And I know a lot of people have tried network marketing and love it, but just haven't been able to kind of, figure it out and, get to where you are. So I'm really excited to talk to you about that. And I just want to ask you, first of all, what made you get started in network marketing, and how did you arrive to this point where you gave up your full-time job and now you're doing this full-time?
Yeah, well, it is a tough journey. It's not an easy industry to crack. And I think if anybody, unfortunately, you do get these people that portray it to be really easy and, just post on Facebook a couple of times and you'll make £1 million. And it's not quite like that. It's a lot of hard work. There's been so many times where I've wanted to hit my head against the wall, throw my laptop out the window. There's been days where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I think the key thing is it's being consistent. Yes. And it's turning up every single day, because when you start to realise that you're impacting people and people kind of come to rely on you as well, it's showing up for them, and it's you've just got to keep going. But I initially started, it was about 3.5 years ago, and I think I was just kind of flicking on Facebook and noticed that somebody had posted an ad saying, do you want to make some more money at home? And I thought, oh, well, we could all do a bit more money. Boys are expensive. And I messaged this lady, and she explained, that it was this sort of health and wellbeing company. And off we went. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I think that my entire family must have unfriended me from Facebook and deleted me.
Chase the family and friends.
Yeah, and just constantly posting about all these products and, doing everything kind of the wrong way. And then, so I've been with a couple of companies since, and then sort of this time last year when my sort of full-time employment was coming to an end, I decided it was a combined decision because of everything that had gone on with my ex-partner. Because he was a colleague, I still worked with him, and I was still expected to work with him. Oh, my goodness. So it was a really difficult situation. So it wasn't necessarily that I'd got to a point where, I'd decided to leave my job for network marketing. It was more sort of, I was kind of forced to in a way. And I just thought, right, okay, now I'm going to run with this full time. I never thought I ever would. I thought I would only ever do it part time, but I just loved it, really loved it. And I just kind of sat here and thought, I've got to make this work because this is going to be my only income. I've got children to feed and, rent to pay and so on, as we all do. And I actually changed companies. I kind of was looking, I wanted somebody that was going to be a strong leader. and, you know, sort of a bit of a new path. And so that's what brought me to the company that I'm in now. So I'm still in health and wellbeing. And I've got my group that I'm running, which is, again, it's all about, you know, empowerment, sort of health tips, parenting tips. It's kind of, I wanted it to be a place that people felt comfortable to be able to come in and not feel like they were going to just be sold to all the time. You know, because we know what it's like. So, yeah, I just wanted to create, you know, a sort of a safe community and somewhere that people can be themselves, you know, and encourage and empower each other. I also started a frame business, which is called Forever Frames. And that came about last year in August. My sister got married, and basically I went round all the tables at the end and sort of collected, you know, like place names, you know, just little bits from her reception. And I thought, I'm going to put it all in a frame, because, you know, we kind of have these like amazing times or these special memories, and they kind of just tend to put in a drawer, I think, and forgotten about. And I thought, wouldn't it be lovely to kind of, you know, to put something on frame and make a memory frame and to be able to look at it all the time.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where it came from. And my sister and my mum and some of my friends were like, that's amazing. Like, you should make them and run a business. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that. So I kind of just put it out on Facebook, and I came up with a few designs, and it kind of went crazy. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, like, you're really clever. Yeah. And so it kind of, that's how the frame side of things, how that originated. I've got something that I'm launching in the new year, but I'm keeping that one quiet for now. So watch this space. Yeah, very, very exciting. But yeah, I love it. I love being able to make a difference to other people, you know, whether it's in their confidence, their health, financially. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that with, you know, just the things you post, and, you know, you're such an inspiration, so empowering. And you mentioned you've got this lovely group about empowerment, health, and parenting. And is that just for your? Is that mostly for your? What do you call the people who's the people you sponsored into the business, or is this for everybody?
No, yeah, it's for absolutely anyone and everyone, whether you're, you know, in network marketing or whether you're just, you know, a friend on Facebook or, you know, a fellow parent. Anybody, you know, can come along and join. It's it's not just for people, you know, that have bought products or anything like that. So it's not like a customer group as such.
Right. Okay. How can people find this group, Lisa?
So it's on Facebook, and on my profile, so I've got a page, but it's more my group that I put the most sort of content in and sort of try and steer people towards, shall I say. So it's called Forever Well, because I thought I'd keep it in line with the Forever Frames. So yeah, it's Forever Well. Oh, I can't speak. Forever Well. And yeah, it's just about, just, you know, recipes. I just try and provide value, give people value. You know, and again, sort of motivation, encouragement. Sometimes I'll do like, let's all share our successes, because sometimes people, you know, you kind of think, oh, you know, obviously when people pay off like debts or they buy a new car, you know, the sort of the larger things is wonderful. Yeah, but also I think it's important to celebrate the small wins, you know, just when you can afford to actually just go and get your hair done at the hairdressers without having to worry about where the money's coming from, or just getting your kids to school on time.
Yes, getting to school on time is very important. And you know, like you said, you know, getting your hair done or just feeling good about yourself, you know, doing things that it makes your appearance, the way you want it to. So that's lovely. And, I love that you've had, you started with your sister's wedding and this wonderful idea came up. And here you are, turned it into a business. And it's funny, I'm gonna have to talk to you after this, because it's not about frames, but something similar that I do for my family for memories. And my sisters, my sisters saying, why didn't you do it but I think that is amazing that you've taken it and you've turned it into a business. Can you just tell us a little bit about that? Because I know sometimes, people who may be listening have got some ideas or some hobbies that they do, and they think, I can't do anything with this, it's just for me and the family or what have you. And they don't realise that, maybe other people would be interested. So, again, with your newfound confidence, I mean, what did you do and how did you get started and how do you feel? Because you've got the network marketing business and now you've got your own business started by you from the ground upwards.
Yeah, it was, like I say, initially I was a bit like, I don't know, I'm that good, I'm no professional. And I think it was my mum, she was like, get it out there on Facebook, go and sort of, go to like school fetes and stuff, just go and see. Because, and my mum's like me in that sense that if you don't ask, you don't know. If you don't ever go for it, you're never going to know. You may have... I've got friends that like to crochet and all sorts of things. And if you don't try, you're always going to be wondering, aren't you? And it could be that you could set something up and it might not work that well, or, it might not make you millions. But I just think, the feedback that I've had, because I always put reviews on my page, when people say, oh, thank you, like I've made a few frames that were for wedding gifts. And because it's kind of personalised as well, I just think people like that kind of special something.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, and I literally, I posted the picture of my sister's frame, and then I kind of made up a couple of my own, just, I think I just samples. Painted like an initial, samples. Mm-hmm. And it literally, it was crazy, absolutely crazy, the response. And I just thought, oh, wow. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to work out, how much I need to charge, how much the material's going to cost and so on. And I set up my own website. So I've got a page on my website, all about frames, and there's pictures. And also set up, a business page so that people could contact me. And I've had repeat customers. You do find it's very seasonal. So like Mother's Day was very, very popular, and Christmas is always very popular. But it was really good fun as well, because I kind of realised that I had a bit of a creative side that I didn't really know I had. Yeah, well, my family are very creative. My sister used to have her own cake making business.
Oh, my sister, she makes cake. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And my mum, she's very good at sort of baking, and she makes candles and all sorts of things. And I've always been a bit like, I'm the non-creative one, I'm like the black sheep.
So you thought.
So I thought. And people always say to me, you've got a really good eye for colour, and, you're really good at sort of putting stuff together. So, I really enjoyed doing it. And I found it quite therapeutic as well. If I was sort of having a bit of a low day, I would just sit and make frames, because I could kind of just throw myself into it. And that creative side just kind of, I suppose what's the word? When you forget things for a while, you're sort of so focused. Yeah. So that's Forever Frames.
I love, I love that you say, don't worry if you don't get that much interest, or it may not seem as though you're going to make lots from it, because as you say as well, it's therapeutic and it's showing your creativity, and you can always twist and you can always tweak things. It maybe the way you might put it out there might not get the attention, but you just keep coming back to it and especially if it is therapeutic. You're doing it for yourself. You're enjoying it anyway, so it's still worth people, putting forward, their...
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the end result as well, I've made, I've got a lady, she bought some frames from me. She's bought several from me, actually, over the year. And she asked me to make 2 frames, like the design's the same, but it's for her husband and her brother-in-law, and it's like in memory of their mum. And she messaged me, because I always work with people, and I can either sort of come up with an idea, or sometimes people say, that they know what it is they want. And she messaged me to say she'd received them, and she was like, I really love them. They're exactly what I wanted. They're perfect. And I think when you're kind of involved in something emotional and personal like that with somebody, with a customer, you sort of feel like, I'm glad I've kind of done it justice. So, yeah, it's just nice to know that, I guess I've kind of made an impact on them as such, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And, as you just said, an emotional and personal. So, obviously you're the person creating the whole thing, but you work with the family members to kind of get the ideas, get an idea of who they're, the person that they want to, gift this, the frame to, and you work together and you learn about them on a deeper level. Because normally, we're talking on a more superficial level, but here you're getting to know this person that you don't know through their eyes and their thoughts and, what they have to say.
Absolutely, yeah. And I guess it's a bit like you're sort of part of their journey, yes. I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and what you've done is you've pieced together the important, elements that they can, it's always there for them to see. So, again, I love the making memories, and that you, again, successfully have turned it into a business where you're now... you're now making people's dreams come true, and just wonderful things. Whether it's their wedding, whether it's christenings, and like you say, the seasonal times where people are thinking about what do I get for so and so, and who wouldn't love something like that to be able to look back on?
Yeah.
So, Lisa, at this point, can you share your details? How, if people want to get in contact with you, if people want to get to your website, your social media sites, how can people find Lisa?
Well, I'm on Pinterest. I know a lot of people don't use Pinterest, but I love it, and I'm on there as Forever Well. I'm on Facebook as Lisa Lowndes, and then there's like links to my group and my pages. My website is just lisalowndes.com, because what I've tried to do, although I'm an affiliate for a company, in health and wellbeing, I want to just kind of brand myself, and then all my little bits are kind of like under the umbrella as such. So, yeah, my website is lisalowndes.com, and again on there you'll find a mixture of empowerment. There's a bit about my story. There's blog posts, there's a bit about the frames, a bit about the health and wellbeing. There is a section where you can sign up to receive a newsletter, and there is a link so that people can email me if they wish to. And also I'm on Messenger as well, so I can be contacted on Messenger. So, yeah.
Lisa, just before I go to the next set of questions, I just want to ask you, how important is it to brand? And also, can you explain to people what branding is, just in case someone's kind of wondering what's that? And also, why is it important?
It's, to me, I think I've learned so much in network marketing, and I think people tend to, they sign up with a company and they think that company is their business, and it's not. You're an affiliate for the company, but you're self-employed. It's what you choose to do with it. And I think what people need to remember is, and I know it's probably very unlikely, but if Facebook just completely disappeared,
Yes.
how are you going to run your business, you know? So I think it's important that people use other platforms, build their email lists, because then, and I know there's been a couple of times, isn't there, when Facebook's gone down and Messenger's gone down, and everyone goes a bit like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And, you know, oh, that's it. But if you've got your email list and you've got other platforms to use, you know, you can still carry on. And I think it's important that you brand, you know, your business is you, and you brand yourself, because I think people are more likely to relate to you. They're more likely to, I guess, like, understand you. You know, people don't want somebody that's just plastering product posts all over their profile. You know, it's like, yeah, so, sometimes people turn things into like product brochures instead of a profile. You know, I think it's important to show people the real you, who you are, what you believe in, what you stand for. You know, I know if I'm looking for a coach or I'm looking to connect with somebody, they're the sorts of things that I would look for.
Sure.
I guess it's the sort of the know, like, and trust factor. So, yeah, I think it's very important that you brand yourself as your business, and, you know, have all these, whether it's one thing that you're doing or several things, to kind of have that under your umbrella. And also you can kind of make it unique as well. You know, like with my website, it's all sort of uniformed, and, you know, the colours are all the same on the pages, and it then becomes kind of a representation of you. So, like, I've got a little saying that I always say to people, you know, and it's kind of become my, what do you call it? Not my logo, well, I suppose my logo in a way. So, yeah, people start to recognise things as you and your business, rather than just, oh, that's the company she works for, you know. Because, again, you don't actually work for that company, if that makes sense.
You're separate entity, yes.
Absolutely. So, yeah, for anybody, you know, that isn't doing that, or is struggling, or it wants to set out to do that, absolutely go for it. You know, make it your own, make it unique to you. I think that's the other important thing as well, is not to kind of be like everybody else. You know, just, it's, I mean, there's so many people that are in the industry now, and you've got to make yourself stand out. And I think as well, it just makes you look more professional.
Absolutely. And I like that you talk about, you know, like, and trust. It's all about building relationships, and you can't build relationships if you're just talking about products. You know, people, you need to step inside that and open it up and let people, you know why, you know, you're doing this. But then, like you say, also let them know who you are, and you know, like minds connect with like minds, and so that's what I hear you speak about. You know, the attraction factor, where you know, you could be doing that same business somebody else, and then, you know, the people that will resonate with you will come to you, and the people who resonate with that other person will come to them. But if you're both talking about just the products and the company, it's like, well, who do I talk to? How do I know who's...
Absolutely.
So I want to talk to you about a lovely lady that we both know that's brought us together, and how I came to meet you. Tell me a bit about the lovely Rebecca.
Oh, she's just amazing. I met Rebecca. I've been connected with her on Facebook for a while now. And then this year, back in April, she was running an Ignite live event. And we kind of got talking, and I was like, oh, I'm going to come to that. My upline he was a guest speaker, so I wanted to go and support him. Kind of didn't really know what to expect from it, to be honest. But I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to get to meet Rebecca, you know, it's going to be great. And, it just was a complete turning point in my life. And then, you know, sort of from meeting Rebecca, because it makes a hell of a difference when you do actually meet people that you've been connected with. I think you kind of get on a deeper level with them, and, you know, it's so nice when you meet people. So, yeah, after Ignite, I kind of thought, you know, this has been a big wake-up call. This is kind of, things need to change. So I contacted Rebecca, as she's a life mastery mentor.
Yes.
And said to her, you know, I'd like to do some coaching work with you. So obviously with that, you know, we've built a friendship, and, you know, we're working together in a professional capacity as well. So it's been an amazing journey. She's just incredible. And she's such an inspiration. She really does keep me going.
Oh.
And yeah, and just through that, then, you know, other opportunities have come about. So yeah, that's been really, really exciting, as you know, because you've been involved as well.
I know, to my shock and my oh my God, and I'm so humbled and honoured and oh my goodness, you know, definitely. And what I'd like you to do, Lisa, we were both involved in her fantastic event, International Interview Summit. Can you tell us, how did you get to be part of that, and tell us, you know, a little bit about it so people know what we're talking about and why we both are so excited?
Yeah, it was such an incredible opportunity. So the series it launched in November, and it was an entrepreneur or an inspirational person basically was interviewed, and the interview was released every day in November. So it was like one interview per day. And Rebecca, I remember walking back from Tesco's and getting a voice note from Rebecca saying, you know, would you like to be a part of this series? And, you know, I know Rebecca's very much, she cherry picks people, and I just felt really, I think I cried and screamed walking down the road, because I was like, oh my goodness, like, wow, how amazing. I was so excited. And yeah, it's just, I never kind of really appreciated, though, the impact that it would have, and sort of the opportunities that would come for it. And obviously each day, you know, you hear another amazing person, and you just think, wow, you know, it might be that they've gone through really horrific things and they've overcome it, or they're really successful in business, or, you know, there was lots of different stories from people, wasn't there? It was very mixed. Yeah. And it was just amazing to be a part of that, and, you know, for every day to be inspired again by somebody else. And every time I watched one, I'd be like, do you know what, I'm never ever going to doubt myself again. Yeah. We can do anything and everything, you know, and it kind of got, it absolutely was. And just to be connected with new people, you know, I mean, some of the stories were just completely blew me away, you know, the things that people have been through. So it was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it, and obviously it's got us connected. You know, got me on your show, which I'm very, very grateful for. So
grateful to have you.
It's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with everything you said. I mean, just watching the videos and connecting with each person who's, you know, sharing their story, sharing their talent, sharing, you know, I come away just feeling, you know, uplifted. And some people who had, you know, stories that were really, you know, kind of, that, you know, they've overcome some incredible things. It just made me, if I was going through a bit of a, you know, because sometimes, you know, some days it's a little bit harder than others. Yeah. After watching, you know, that account, it would be like, wow, you know, and you just feel that all your problems just dissolve, because, you know, this person can overcome this situation. You know, why am I getting all, you know, bent out of shape over this small thing over here that I'm dealing with? Yeah. So, I mean, what would you say people can get from it by, and also I'm going to ask you to share how people can, you know, get hold of these, and also it's over 20 hours of pure, empowering, inspirational, motivational.
I know.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I think as well, you know, from the sort of business side of things, the golden nuggets that were in there, you know, there was a couple of interviews with other ladies in the industry, and, you know, they'd either said things that hadn't worked for them and how they'd overcome it and made it work, or just their kind of passion and their consistency and, you know, just the tips and the things that worked for them, you know, that in itself was just golden. And there was a couple of things I thought, oh wow, you know, I'm going to use that and try and apply that into my business and, you know, see if it works for me.
Yes.
So yeah, that side of things as well was really, really powerful. The series, you have to, as you know, you have to access it through a link. It's not made public, and the videos aren't available on YouTube or anything. I mean, the time that Rebecca put into the series, and you know, each of us had our own little, like an intro video, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And quotes and images. You know, it was all very professionally done. It was, I know, bless her. It was a wonderful experience. But yeah, so it's not made public. So it has to be accessible by a link, which, you know, we all have a link. So if people wanted to hear your story or my story, but you also have the benefit of all the others as well.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Yes.
Yeah, I think it worked
20
out.
hours.
I think it was around 20 hours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely. I'd say, you know, whether you're in business or whether you're just an ordinary person that hasn't, you know, a 9-to-5 job, or you're a stay-at-home mum, whoever it is, I think everybody can gain value from it and take something away from it. Mm-hmm. And I just think, you know, the biggest thing you can do is invest in yourself.
Oh, God.
As long as you're implementing and putting into action the things that you're learning, investing in yourself is massive. And to me, it was just a no-brainer to invest in. So yeah, it was an incredible project.
Absolutely. You know, one that I would say has been at the top of my 2019, you know, things that I've been involved in this year, I would say definitely came away just really feeling, you know, wow, you know, new ideas, fresh mind, fresh outlook. And, you know, what I feel as well, there were so many, like you said, so many different categories of things. So there were business, you know, people talking about their businesses. There were people who had overcome, you know, debilitating illnesses and have gone on to build, you know, their businesses, and just, you know, so if you're someone who, and what's really beautiful about this as well, it's like it's all under one roof. It's all together, all these different things. Yeah. You don't have to run over here and find out about business, run there and find out about, you know, the inspirational people. Yeah. It's all there, and it's there for you for, it's a lifetime, isn't it? It
is, And for each person as well, there's a little bio, so a bit about them, and also links to their groups and stuff, because that was the other thing I loved was, you know, I discovered you'd got your group, and Carl's got his group. And I'm like, oh wow, you know, I didn't know these groups existed. And so it's just been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it just opens you up to the whole personal development, you know, spiritual development, and it's all there, you know, a lot of hours, and, you know, all you've got to do is just go and check it out for yourself. And I don't know if have you got a link, Lisa, that you want to share, or you know, how can they access it? How can they find it?
There is the link on.
Have you got it on your website?
It is on my Forever Well page, my business page, and there are posts in my Forever Well group. I'll have to see if I can add it, because it's a combination of some numbers and letters and stuff. It's not kind of like a straightforward link, unfortunately. I'm wondering, or I guess if anybody would like to, because there's like an introduction bit to sign, before you sign up.
Yeah.
So I guess if anybody wants to have a look, they can either contact you or contact me, and we can send them the link to have a look at.
Absolutely.
But there are posts in my group and on my page.
So they can just go contact you through your group or your page or your website, and find it there.
Yeah,
obviously, yeah. Oh wow! So Lisa, I know you went to. There's another. I mean, how Rebecca does it, I don't know, but she's got another phenomenal, event that she does each year, and you were blessed enough to go to the previous one. Can you just, give us some insight into what... Because I know when I spoke to you, you said that it changed your life again in so many ways. What happened? What was it that inspired you at that event?
It was just so pivotal in my journey. And I think, again, it was like a massive wake-up call. I came away. So if anybody goes to Ignite next year, and I know you're going to be a guest speaker, which is going to be amazing.
I can't even believe it.
You'll be amazing.
Do you know what? When I interviewed Claire and Rebecca earlier on this year, and they were talking about it, and they were both excited, and I was sitting there thinking, I wish I'd known about this earlier. I'd love to have come as a guest to this event. So when I got asked, I'm still kind of trying it on, because I'm like, oh my god. And yes, just hearing you say I'm going to be a guest speaker there, I was like, oh my god.
Oh, it's going to be amazing. But I warn you, it's very emotional and you'll cry.
Oh my gosh.
but kind of in a good way. This is what Rebecca and I were saying we did an interview about it the other day. So it's very much, again, the guest speakers are a mixture of people. So you'll get people that are talking about their business journey and, what's worked and what's not for them. You'll get people that talk about kind of their life journeys. It's very much a mixed bag. Oh. And all I would say is everyone needs to go, because I promise you, you wouldn't not take away something from it. You're treated like everybody's an equal. You're treated like kings and queens. It's fun. You get to meet people, and it just, this year's event, listening to the guest speakers, some of the tears were, you get touched by people, and you hear stories of things that people have been through, and you just think, oh wow. And it can be upsetting. For me, there was a particular speaker that she was telling her journey and all the things she'd been through, and when something just gets you,
yes,
and completely breaks you, and I literally just broke down crying. And I remember Michael, he was a guest speaker, and he's going to be the MC for the event next year. And he's also my mentor and good friend. So he was sat next to me, and, he comforted me, and he was like, are you okay? It's really sad, isn't it? And I said to him, do you know, that was like listening to myself. It's like hearing myself speak. And wow, something's got to change, because it really hit me just how bad my self-esteem was, and my lack of confidence. And I remember Rebecca left me a voice note a few days after, I think it was, and she was saying, she was really grateful for my friendship, and I got really hysterical, and I was like, why would you be grateful of my friendship? I should be grateful of you. And it really, really hit me. And I just thought, how can I empower other people and empower my children and, inspire others if I don't have that belief in myself? And I just kind of thought, you've got to change, because your business is never, you're never going to take off, and you're never going to achieve all the things that you want to achieve with that kind of mindset. So yeah, it was absolutely massive for me. I think it took me a couple of days when I came home. It took me a couple of days to get over it. Just the emotion and just letting everything kind of sink in. And yeah, I knew then that was the day that I never looked back. And yeah, it's just been amazing ever since. Because before as well, you know, I'd think, oh, I can't do that. Or people look at me and think, well, who does she think she is? And now I'm like, do you know what? I know who I am. Exactly. And I know what I'm capable of, you know? So, yeah, I know the tickets are limited. So it's not like everyone and anyone can go. Yeah. But if anybody is considering it or want any more information, please reach out, because it is an incredible event, and next year's is going to be completely different because Rebecca doesn't like to do the same thing twice.
She's got so much creativity and ideas, you know, so I can imagine it's like, this is great, but wow, I've got
the gala dinner, you know, it's just going to be amazing. Wow. So yeah, that's awesome. And you've really just you know, as I'm hearing you talking about it, I'm like, you know, seeing it, I'm able to visualise it because you've described everything so well. And yeah, it's amazing when, you know, what I love about what you've said is, you know, there's a chance to network with new people, different, you know, people, you know, that hear stories, share stories, connections, and really just breakthroughs. It sounds like you had a breakthrough at that event, Absolutely.
Which I think is amazing. And this is what I think people are looking for, or what people need. You know, they need to be inspired, and, you know, being given that, you know, when you hear someone who you feel you resonate with, and they're doing their thing, and they're out, you know, out there just being themselves, it makes you feel, you know what, like you just said, it doesn't matter about what people, because it is hard when you know that people are watching you and thinking, you know, who do you think you are? And I was speaking to someone recently who said, you know, they're trying to break through and help people, and, you know, someone that they know really well is, you know, putting them down and making them feel small, almost like they want to pull them back into the old box. And what you're saying is it gives people a chance to break free and to realise that, you know, you're here to live your purpose. You're not here to please other people.
Absolutely, yeah. I want my children to grow up, and obviously into adults, and you know, to know that they can do anything, be anything. Exactly. You know, there aren't limitations, and so what people say. And sometimes I think those that do try and pull you down and sort of laugh it off and tell you to get a proper job, or you know, or who do you think they are? I think a lot of it is that a jealousy thing in a way, because they're like, actually, it's so very easy to stay safe, isn't it? And stay what you're doing, and stay with the 9 to 5, or, you know, whatever. And you know, don't get me wrong, it was, when I left my full-time job, it was a very difficult decision.
Of course.
It's not something that you do lightly.
Yes, I've
but
done that.
But I think sometimes people are too scared to take that leap of faith.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I wonder if it's a bit of a jealousy thing, you know, because people haven't got the confidence to do it themselves, and so they put other people down.
Yeah, exactly. I think sometimes it can be jealousy, but I think there's also other people around that person who feels, oh my God, you know, because they don't even have a window for that. They don't even have they don't even have anything in their consciousness that they can walk away from their job and, you know, build something, you know, for themselves, or do something outside of that box and be able to make it work and make a living and look after their family and find it sustainable. So I think sometimes people are a bit scared, and I think, you know, you don't need that, do you, when you're making this big decision?
No.
You don't want the fear. You want the fear over there so that you can think clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, you know, these events are amazing, and, get in touch with Lisa, you know, or myself, and find out more, because, you know, I know Lisa, I know we've talked about it, and we've both felt emotional on some of, you know, listening to some of that, you know, and we've also felt uplifted, and like you say, you know, like wonderful ideas, you know, have been sparked by, you know, listening, watching the, you know, people who are doing incredible things. So it's really worth it. And it's not just the 1 hour or 2 hours, it's over 20 hours of, learning and growing. It's really like a university, personal development university, I would say.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a game changer.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Lisa, is there, if someone's sitting at home and they are, they're in that space where you felt you were in, and where I felt I was in, just feeling, self-esteem not quite there, confidence not quite there to do the things that they want to do. And I don't know about you, but I would say it doesn't, when you get up and do what what you need to do that's outside the box, it doesn't mean that you don't have any fear, but you remember there's a lovely book that was called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
Yeah.
What would you say to what would you say to that person who's sitting there? They've got, there's all the ideas and different things that they can do, but they just don't feel I can get out and share. I can't come out of my box. Maybe there's people around them or what have you. What would you say to them?
Get out that box and go for it. And I just think, my family are great kind of behind the scenes, but that they don't come to events, you don't see them sort of supporting my stuff on Facebook, and that's fine. I'm like, that's fine, I don't care. And I just think, we have one shot at life, we have one opportunity, the impact that you can provide to other people. And even if you sort of have these ideas and you're a bit like, not sure, just get stuff out there and just get the ball rolling, because you never know where it's going to lead you. I've sort of, with Rebecca, I've just come up with a 5-year plan. Wow. And it was something that I hadn't really thought of doing. Rebecca sort of gave me the idea and I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah, I can run with that. And then it just spiraled. And, we would come out with all these ideas and you're like, I could do this and I could do this. And she's like, yeah, you can. Who's to tell?
Wow.
What right has anybody got to tell you that you can't do something? You're your own person. You have every right to do what you want to do. And, you've just got to forget what other people say, what their opinions are, because other people's opinions don't pay you bills.
Very true.
Either, And
no, carry on.
Just go for it. Absolutely go for it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But it might work. And I'm quite stubborn, and I get an idea in my head and I'm like, I can't not do it. I think that's just kind of me. So I think when I had my bright idea to decide to do a degree, just because I wanted to, and I thought, if I don't, I'm never going to know. And I would rather do something, look back and go, do you know what, actually that wasn't really for me. I didn't really enjoy it, but you know what, I tried it, rather than looking and thinking, well, I'm never going to know now, am I? So yeah, just absolutely go for it and forget about everybody else, forget about everyone's opinions. You're here to make a difference. You don't always know as well the people that you're going to inspire, and the people that are sort of almost out there waiting for you to come out with your creativity or your product idea or your book or whatever it might be. So yeah, just absolutely go for it. And if you can, find somebody that has done what you want to do, or is a good, I do strongly recommend that people invest in a coach or a mentor.
That was going to be my next question. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, yeah. I like it.
Yeah, I do highly recommend that. It obviously costs money, but it's so worth the investment. And also, sometimes it is nice to have somebody else that goes, well, what about doing this, or what about this? And you think, oh yeah, I never thought of that. You can bounce ideas off each other. So I would definitely recommend that, or at least reach out to somebody, that you respect, or somebody that, like I say, has achieved what you want to achieve, for advice. But yeah, just absolutely go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, and I know we were both talking about, you know, having coaches and how, and I think like what you just said, it's when if you're trying to do something by yourself, the problem is those voices in your head, you know, those the critiques, or you know, critics, or there's another name for them. I can't remember right now, but it's that thing of, you know, all those doubts and fears come up. But then when you've got another human being and you say, you know, I want to do this, or as you say, they start, you know, opening up and you know, giving you, thinking, yeah, you can do this. It just makes a difference to have another human being
absolutely
believe in you, and sometimes believe in you more than you believe in yourself.
Absolutely. And also kind of, you have somebody, it's like having an accountability partner.
Yes.
You know, it's like with Rebecca, she'll give me sort of homework and stuff to do. And so, I mean, I love the stuff that I'm doing. And, you know, it's not like homework is a chore or anything like that. But it kind of, you know, I know that I have to then keep on top of stuff because she's going to be expecting it on our next call as such. And yeah, it just, I think, yeah, it's just somebody's give you a push. Somebody, like you say, when you start to get those doubts in your head, for somebody else to say, come on, actually, let's get rid of those doubts. You know, what are you waiting for? Just go for it. Yeah. So, yeah, I would certainly recommend finding somebody, a coach or a mentor. Absolutely. And if there are, you know, as we were talking earlier on, maybe there's people who are trying to stop you. When you have that, you know, that coach, that other person, and you're accountable, you're no longer thinking about them because you're thinking, oh my God, I've got to do this assignment. You know, they're expecting, you know, so you're more focused on delivering. Rather, whereas if you don't have someone like that, then you might get caught up in what other people are saying, and you know, you know, squash yourself back into the box. Yeah, or it'd be easy to think, oh, well, I'll do that another time, and then you know what it's like, you don't get around to it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's always that. Yeah, oh, maybe next week or next month.
Yeah,
or, you know, next year or 10 years time, or never.
No, I know, and it's like, no, do it now.
Yes, I love that. Do it now, and that's what a coach gets you to do. They get you to start, not just think about it, not just talk about it, but actually, you know, do it. Wow.
Absolutely.
Lisa, is there anything else you want to share with our listening audience? I know you're a busy young lady, and I don't want to keep you too long, but have you got anything else you'd like to say to our listening audience before we wrap up?
I think I've probably covered everything. But again, just to reiterate, you know, don't hold back. Remember your self-worth. You know, everybody is worthy. Everybody has the right to be treated with respect. Everyone deserves to live a fulfilled life. And, you know, it might take a little bit of work to get there. You know, it might be that, you know, you need some sort of professional help depending on what you've been through, but there's absolutely no reason why people can't live a happy life. So yeah, I think that's all really, and just, you know, go for it. Absolutely go for it.
Wow, you've said it. You know, that's exactly what it's for. You know what it's about. Go for it.
Yeah.
Because once you're out there in the thick of it, you'll find your way forward. But you have to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a bit like what I'm doing with the sort of thing that I'm working on for the new year. I'm like, I'll just start it and I'll figure it out as I go.
Exactly, just get started. It's because you don't always have everything that you need to know straight away. The way the universe works, and you know, because I do feel that we download from the universe, and you get one piece of information and you start with it, and then as you keep going, then you get more insight and